Hello, and welcome to another week at the bungalow. Big week for you this week, finishing off the master bedroom suite. So if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Keep that algorithm happy. Kicking off with some hinge fitting. This is the door for the dressing room. And we've got a couple of concealed hinges going in here. Keep the face nice and flush, and as you'll see later, there's a reason behind that. But they have to be rebaited in, so we've got the router out. Took a bit of fettling to get this absolutely right. What we're basically looking for, as you can tell, is a nice flush finish. We're using about a 19mm bit, and we're directly taking out all the material, so that's the exact width of the hinge that we're putting in. So there's no moving the router about, it's a literal backwards and forwards on the door edge. Trying to keep this as absolute plumb as possible. So you've got there the blocks that stop the router, stop us going any further than we absolutely need to. So we first of all have to rebate the main body of the hinge, and then we're doing the faceplate. Supporting rail there on the left hand side of the door, just to make it slightly easier for the router, rather than trying to balance it just on the door edge. And absolutely lovely. Fitting a treat. But they're concealed because they don't have the sort of, they're not a butt hinge, they don't have that, the butt part as it were, sitting on the side of the frame. And then we have exactly the same process on the lining. This one's a lot more difficult because we're obviously working with it vertical, but exactly the same cutout has to be created. There you can see we're marked up. We've got all the lines of where to start and stop for the different parts. Absolutely perfect, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for the door to be totally flush once we're finished. We've obviously got the stops etc. to go in, stop it bouncing on the hinges, but precisely what we're looking for. And then exactly the same process for the bathroom door, or ensuite door. So with hinges all done and the doors in place, leaves us to move on to the skirting. So the plan of action on this wall is to have a panel in. So we've got a picture rail going at the top, skirting at the bottom. We also have a piece going on top of the skirting, and then downward battens to give it the look of panelling. Idea being we're also going to blend the doors into the wall. So as you walk into the room, it's not straight away obvious that there's doors opposite. Panelling's made up of 9mm MDF, so we've ripped that down to about 80mm across, using the same sort of idea across the whole wall, so the sizings are all the same. So we've got a piece of MDF going above the skirting, as I've already said, and then another one going at the top that we've just put in, which is the picture rail. Then once that's done and out of the way, we have the vertical slats that join the two up and tie it all together. So with the timber work done, it's time to tidy up and get the decorating started. So Claire's on the case, filling all the gaps I've left. So these could be odd bits and knot, any dinks and knocks in the wood, and mainly all the pins that we've used to temporarily hold, as well as the grip fill that's on the back of the skirting, but the pins to hold this all in place. And of course all the joints in between the timber and the back wall also need to be filled. So we've got the caulk going in. So this Claire's applying now is knotting. So this goes onto all the raw wood. So it stops the knots in the wood from bleeding through the paintwork or those dark spots you sometimes get. Undercoat on and it looks totally different once all the woodwork's all the same colour, ties it all together. Heading back into the dressing room now. Time to start getting those walls covered up, so wallpapering's happening. So maybe just a small room, but it still took, I think, 4 rolls to get that sorted. Just lots of cuts and lots of bits, and I think the repeat on the paper was quite big. far as I'm concerned, I think the wallpaper and aspect takes the patience of a saint, so this one falls clearly and wholly into Claire's department. It's the master at it. It's like Zen-like. This one falls a bit more into my department. It's a bit of woodwork, although not my favourite because it's finished woodwork and it has to be millimetre perfect. So for an up and dry fitting edging that's going round our packs furniture, you can see we've got a bit of the panelling on the right hand side there. That's to tie in with the panelling that's in the main room. Claire's done a wonderful job on the wallpapering. I think we've even got some lights working. So grip fill holds it in place. That and a few brads just to stop it sliding around. So tying it all together with the oak edging, like we did on the side of the desk there with the off-cut flooring. We brought some stripwood oak. This is the other bit that's involved in the finer details of covering up this packs and tying it all together. So we've got a sheet of MDF that's been cut the size of the opening in between the stripwood oak, and then this has been cut up. And then we're applying these to the fronts of the drawers. So literally using the blade cuts as the drawer openings, along with obviously making sure that the MDF that we cut for the fronts is absolutely as near as we can. Got a few 3mm spacers going in there. Stop it all sliding down and sitting on top of each other. Just while it sets up and dries. It'll obviously dry like concrete once it's done. Then once all those drawer fronts are on, falls back at Claire's department, making my ropey work look absolutely perfect. Filling any gaps, covering up all the edges. So all the woodwork is strong white, I think the colour is, and then it's a silk, so it gives it a bit of a sheen, but not a full gloss for obvious reasons. I think the days of full gloss are a bit past. Maybe that's just my opinion. So back into the main bedroom. Got a couple of glass shelves going up here in the alcove. So this is the alcove that we created in the previous part. It was a gap in between the chimney breast and the end wall. So once again, falls into that sort of department of adding a feature, adding a something. So the room's not just a plain box. You can see there Claire's put the wallpaper in the back of it as well to give it that extra bit. So the shelf brackets just come from local hardware supplier, and then we got the glass cut. So it's 6mm glass, toughened, and then we've had all the edges beveled just to make sure it's not sharp. Even though it's toughened, you're still very nervous about putting these things together and how much weight it's going to hold, but I think it's just the fact that it's absolutely clear, and we have this expectation that glass is very brittle, but really probably take my weight. So that's the ensuite to the bedroom. This is one of the rooms you wouldn't have seen. We'd created this off camera, so to speak, a little while ago. But obviously, as you can tell, the finishing off is required, and it needs its final fettling before the sort of room goes into full service. So we've got some architrave to go round, and there's been a slight change in the fact that we're setting the architrave back from the doorway. So we've got our identical, as were, handmade architraves. So we've got sort of stock timber that we've then routed the bead detail along the edge to. This architrave is going to be used all the way through the bungalow, along with the bead detail that we add to the skirting. As far as the architrave is concerned, we then add another OG piece on top. Once again, just giving it something extra. We don't have any Victorian features or fireplaces or anything fancy to look on, and obviously it's a relatively modern bungalow. So it's just trying to give it that bit of interest with a bit more effort. So with a few bits of timber work done and a base coat on, starting to come together and tie all those different colours and details. So as Claire finishes off the final parts of the bathroom, it's time to show you what we've been up to. As always, we thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one.